extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes, the one, the only, and himself. Today's topic on this beautiful October 14th, 2024 is this. It's diplomacy. Diplomacy. We hear that in the news all the time. We hear it from all these people, all these pundits, all these corporate media types, and from the Democrat Party on how Israel, I'm going to use Israel just real quickly, and then we're going to move on to a couple things, how Israel needs to use diplomacy and restraint in what they're doing there in Israel against these Hamas and Hezbollah, terrorists. So let's look at that. Let's look at diplomacy. When do you use diplomacy? When is it in the best interest of a nation to use diplomacy instead of going directly to war? When is diplomacy the option to use before you send your military in to do something? And it's a very simple answer. It's very, very simple. We only use our military as a last resort. And I think that's for most nations. Diplomacy is the first resort. Getting people together, getting two sides to talk, getting a third party in there to arbitrate, getting someone in there to have a discussion with. I detest the United Nations. I think the United Nations is nothing but a power-seeking, world domination, whatever you want to call them. I detest them. I think it should be dismantled. We should be out of that. We should shove that building off into the Atlantic Ocean, let it sink, hopefully with most of those diplomats in it. But I digress. Diplomacy. You use it first. And you use it before anything really starts. But once something starts, you can continue. But that is not your main focus anymore. Let's look at what happened in, Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield. We had several months of trying to get Iraq to do the right thing after they invaded Kuwait. Months of talking to them, months of the world condemning them, months of the United Nations passing mandates telling them to get out. Diplomacy was used over and over and over again, even after they had done aggression. But while the diplomacy was going on, we were building up forces. We were building up the largest force we had used in so many years, since Vietnam, basically. We were compiling it over there. Diplomacy works best when you have a stick to smack your opponent over the head to get their attention. So that's what diplomacy works sometimes, is before anything really gets fired up and gets going. But let's look at what happened with Israel. in Israel, Hamas terrorists, the little animals that they are, supported by Islamofascists, Iranians leadership, sent a bunch of people into Israel to kill Israelis. 370 some days later, there are still prisoners, if you want to call them that, or captives, or whatever you want to call them, held by Hamas. Hamas went in there, murdered people in stores, just ran in there, started shooting everybody in the stores, ran into homes, killed everybody in there. If there was small children, they shot the small children, or they stabbed them, or they broke their necks and killed them. These Hamas animals raped children, women, men, whoever, and killed them. 1,400 Israelis died that day. The world, which is filled with anti-Semites, and the Democrat Party all called for Israel to have restraint, use diplomacy. Man. Had this happened to our nation, and let's just say, let's just pick Juarez, Mexico came across or Tijuana sent a bunch of their Mexican terrorist cartels, whatever you want to call them, into the United States and killed a proportionate number, it'd be like 40,000 Americans would have been dead that day. Dead, raped, murdered, mutilated. The most horrible things you can do to people. What would we have done? Would we have had diplomacy be our first thing? Let's go down and have a talk with these guys. Now, if you're a Democrat, yes, you would. If you're a Democrat, you would go down there and say, we understand that you're upset with us. We, being a nation that, stole a large amount of your country from you after the Mexican-American War, we understand your frustration and your hate for us, and we're sorry. But if you'll just promise not to do it again, we'll give you some billions of dollars, and please just don't do it again. That would be the Democrat Party response. And I only say that because that's the response that they're doing with Iran. Iran's doing all this stuff, and yet the Biden administration continues to funnel hundreds of billions of dollars into that fascist nation. So when I make fun of them about Mexico, they're actually doing it with Iran. That's how screwed up Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are, and the entire Democrat Party. Israel has an absolute right to say to hell with diplomacy. We're going to hunt down every single one of these animals, subhuman garbage on two legs, and we're going to execute them. We're going to kill every one of them. I encourage Israel to do so. I encourage Israel to do the same thing in the north with Hezbollah. Do not listen to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or the Democrat Party. They hate you. Israel, the Democrat Party, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they hate you. And there's lots of reasons why. In the Democrat Party, just because they're anti-Semites. It's suffice it to say that, but there's other reasons too why they would be so anti-Semitical. So please, do not listen to Joe Biden when they're saying don't retaliate and restrain yourselves and show that you're a better people. They are a better people. The Israelis are a better people in every way, shape, or form than the Iranian-backed subhuman beings, or whatever you want to call them, animals called Hamas and Hezbollah. If a dog ever attacked me or my children, grandchildren, it would do it one time. The damage would be done to my child or grandchild, but the dog would do it one time, and all it would do is receive a bullet to the head and a quick burial. That's all Hamas, Hezbollah, and any other terrorist groups, including the Palestinians as far as I'm concerned, because they support Hamas and Hezbollah terrorist groups, like 80-90% of them do. So just go do the job you have to do. Do not worry, Israel. Do not worry about, what do they call it, civilian collateral damage and casualties. Do the job you have to do. The people you're trying not to get in the crosshairs because you're going after others are the ones that support the ones that came in and killed your people. You are a better people than these animals. Fight to win. Do not stop. And I know that your ability to wage war is being hampered because of Joe Biden and his anti-Semitical party. When Joe Biden is allowed to violate U.S. law and hold the weapons and the munitions that have already been approved by Congress to be given to you, and he holds them up, someone should walk in there, put handcuffs on that senile old piece of garbage, and walk him to prison. And that dumb vice president of his, the most stupid person I've ever seen in my life in political office. I always thought Joe Biden was stupid, but gee whiz, Kamala Harris is dumb. So dumb. Anyhow, I wrote down a note here. I wanted to make sure I told you. Oh, I just told you already. So here's another thought for you. Here's another thought. Why does Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Palestinians find it so comfortable to be in the Democrat Party? Why does the Democrat Party go to bat, endorse, and show such concern for such a small group of people in this country, in Dearborn, Michigan, and in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and other places, little enclaves of terrorism? Why do they find it so comfortable to be with each other? It is very simple. The Democrat Party hates America. They hate our Constitution. They hate the Bill of Rights. They hate the Declaration of Independence. They hate the rule of law. They hate anybody who stands up for those things. They hate half the country that wants the rule of law and our nation to be prosperous and great. They hate it. They want it brought down to be like a nation ruled just like China's. And they actually say these things. They actually promote this. Their model is China. How the hell are you, any of you people in this party, unless you're in the same frame of mind? But anyways, how do they get along so well with all these Islamofascists? Because the Islamofascists of Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinians, they all hate America too. They hate America and they hate Israel. And isn't that convenient that the Democrat Party hates Israel and hates America, also wants to destroy it. So if they work together hard enough, they can take and bring to pass a Marxist, Islamist utopia. Won't that be marvelous? A nation run under the ideology of communism and Islam. I don't know what that would even look like. They won't exist with each other, and eventually they'll have to fight each other if they end up conquering a nation like this. But anyhow, Israel, one last time, please, 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 please disregard everything that Joe Biden says. Donald Trump is on the way. And when he gets in there, you're going to have more weaponry, more munitions to go after these animals. And we need to quit calling them people. They're not people. They're human. They're subhuman animals. Anybody that would do the things, and I haven't seen the unedited parts of what happened in Israel to all these babies and all these children and all these things that happened. I only saw the parts that they released, and it is horrific. And anyone who thinks that Israel is to blame for any of this needs to have their head examined. And anybody who marches in the street supporting Hamas needs to be arrested for sedition. They are terrorists. You're supporting a terrorist group. Well, okay, you're Democrats, you're colleges, universities, whatever, and you're supporting terrorists. Well, the Democrat Party is a group of terrorists too. It is the greatest threat to this nation for our prosperity, for our freedom, liberty, and the ability to pursue our own happiness. 22 days. Pick a side. Are you on the side of freedom, or are you on the side of terrorists like the Democrat Party, Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran? Pick a side. Get out and vote. Get out there and stop the insanity.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.